It's the 1st of May 2021 and it's 14:32, and my upload today is basically a further update in my defence, where I have been experiencing human rights abuses and very serious wrongdoings that violate my constitutional rights. So as I've mentioned, the relevant agencies have heard from me since 2017. This is just one document that highlights my communication and correspondence with the relevant agency of the Department of Health, where I explained that there had been unlawful detainments and violations of my freedom while walking on my property, and where I was trespassed upon and without any legalities or formalities adhered to. There's also this document where I requested an inquiry with regard to the offences. These are all dated between 2017 and the present date. Here I have my documents with regard to correspondence to the Child and Family Agency. That was an acknowledgement that didn't stipulate intentions to address the unlawful action and separation of my child from me. So I also conducted a local complaints procedure, and that wasn't addressed adequately either. And my child is still out of my care. He's a missing person, and he was cared for immaculately, and I'm just very concerned with regard to the paperwork I have in front of me and the paperwork that has been compiled by culprits of identity theft and illegalities. So as I mentioned, the two unlawful detainments that were in 2017, one was with regard to a false claim of being a missing person. I wasn't gone from my marital home more than 24 hours. I wasn't a missing person. My child wasn't in danger in my care. The other incident was due to false reporting. There was no antisocial behaviour, there was no mental instability, there was no disturbances of the peace. And this has all happened since I became a married mother. So these issues are getting a little bit tiresome, having worked with 3 departments of the government and having a clean track record and having experienced very serious defamation of my character, having had an impact on legislation and society that very guilty culprits of fraud are disputing and denying and altering. There's the issue of legal representation that was withheld from me. There was the issue of individuals receiving my correspondence and representing themselves as me and speaking on my behalf without my consent. There have been the issues of individuals in my proximity disturbing the peace, damaging the environment of my accommodation. There have been GDPR offences of these people. I have had an impact on advocacy for recovery, and I have had an impact on society and legislation. I'm a humanitarian. I'm experiencing treason. My child was exposed to harm while unlawfully separated from me. There has been a host of issues caused, and to make matters worse, not only has there been the damage done to my sacred light body, but just only a few hours ago, there has also been damage to a light fragment. And this highlights that the culprits of all these problems that they have been making themselves have just damaged another light fragment with their continuing assault of spiritual violence. I live on my own. I'm a peaceful citizen. My privacy is being violated. I've worked for 3 state departments, and this is what I'm tolerating because of culprits that imposed upon my son since 2016, and had a issue with another woman's progress in her personal and professional life. So they set about damaging my child and I, and they are now still in condition of retaliatory offences and disrespect. And there have been countless offences in where the current matters are being caused. Over 100,000 apparently, it's been brought to my knowledge. I've experienced 100,000 offences where I am currently residing, and there have been people on my property of my marriage and ancestry unlawfully without my consent or consultation. So there is a collective of people making their own rules, doing what they like, stealing what they want and saying what they want. And the individuals that have caused these problems have affected other people also, and they have no right or remit with the slander and the trespassing and the damages to the environment of where I am. So there's been over 100,000 offences where I currently am. I'm of royal patronage, and these people shouldn't even be in my proximity. So the damages of these culprits to faith and religion and to thought processes, as I've mentioned already, is quite serious. They have no legal right in any way whatsoever to be discussing my personal or private matters, and they have no right to be in my proximity, disturbing the peace and false reporting about a person they don't have any interaction with and that they have caused awful offence to the child of also. So as of the date on these ombudsman correspondences in 2019, any false reporting against a citizen that has worked with 3 state departments are not valid. It's a simple fact of law. And as I mentioned yesterday, the combination of the paranormal and the artificial developments of these people and their financial theft and property theft, and the issue of creative and intellectual theft without my consent has also raised huge issues. So this upload is for the attention of those that have respect for the constitution of the democracy, and that have respect for women and children, and that have respect for people's privacy and private lives, and in particular those with any respect for women and children's rights in the field of education. So I've tolerated quite a lot. I'm quite concerned about people's obstinance and avoidance tactics with regard to the problems they've been causing since 2016. I'm very concerned about people on my marital property while I'm tolerating these offences, and I'm waiting 3 years for my child to be restored to my care. There are unlawful actions occurring, and the Department of Justice, etc., are aware of my good work in society and the impact that that work has had, except for the intrusions of culprits that have caused very serious problems to society and wildlife and nature. So I'd appreciate it if the authorities would address the people in my proximity that have caused me these offences, that are stealing wealth and property, and I'd appreciate the authorities addressing the fact that my child has been very seriously harmed as a consequence of these people in an unlawful care placement. I'd appreciate it if the avoidance tactics and evasion tactics would be put aside to rectify and resolve and address the damages done by insanity in sobriety, and I'd appreciate it if people would mind their own families and homes and address the debts that they owe.